Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video I've got a Q&A for you, long awaited. I've been promising one of these for the longest time now. So we're going to get into all your sewing questions and some personal ones as well. You may notice a little bit of difference in my background, and that's because I've got a new chair. So this chair has been ad gifted to me by FlexiSpot and they want me to share it with you. So that's what I'm going to do. We will talk about that a little bit later, but I will say this chair is very, very comfortable. Let's get into some questions. We'll start off with some sewing ones, shall we? Which fabrics do you like to sew and why? For me personally, I enjoy sewing with jersey, stretchy fabrics. That wasn't the case in the beginning at all. It's something that I built up to, but I just enjoy it because that's what I enjoy wearing. I like clothes that are very comfortable and relaxed. So the next question is, which are my favourite patterns to sew and why? Oh, this is a good one. I haven't pre-thought these answers, by the way. This is just off the cuff. Patterns that I like to sew are patterns that require very little alterations. You've seen my journey videos where I go through a whole process, sometimes doing up to 3 or 4 twirls in order to get a really good fit. If I don't need to do that, then I absolutely love it. That's partly why I like to sew jersey, because it's a lot more forgiving than woven. In terms of garment types to sew, I used to like tunics. When I was a bit bigger than I am now, I would just be very at home in a tunic and leggings. But as my weight is coming down, and I have lost about close to 60 pounds now since February, but I'm still on that journey. I still got another 40 or so I want to lose. So my style is going to be evolving. So I don't really know what I'm going to like to sew as we move forward. A couple of brands I like, Closet Core, they fit, well, they did used to fit me really well. Sew Over It I liked, and I'm trying to think of another one. Oh, Friday Pattern Company is a real big favourite of mine. The next question is a bit of a cheeky one, and that is, are you going to sew again? Now I did answer this in the comments, but just for those who haven't seen those comments, I will say the last year I haven't wanted to sew at all because I've got a lot of stuff going on. Also, my stuff's been packed away for the best part of a year and I just couldn't face getting it out again. I am going to be moving. We'll talk about that, but I'm going to be moving, and once I have moved, I am going to be sewing. I'm already really chomping at the bit to get my sewing machine out again and do some videos for you. It's going to be fun in my new home. Do stay tuned. Don't lose hope if you are here for the actual sewing and you've just stuck around because you enjoy my company. Don't lose hope, because the sewing will come back. On my community post, I do have a question: what type of sewing do you want to see from me moving forward? So go and check that out. I can't give short answers. I'm trying really, really hard to give short answers. Sorry. Can you tell us more about using indie patterns as opposed to commercial patterns? I've only sewn 1 or 2 commercial patterns. I haven't done many at all. I went more to the indie just because I was on social media, all the marketing and that. See this pattern, see this pattern. I find the indie patterns a lot better in terms of holding your hand. So if you're a new sewer, then I would stick with the indie patterns. But make sure you get an indie group or an indie company, I should say. You know, they've earned their stripes basically, because anyone can become an indie pattern seller, but not anyone is good at pattern cutting. Look for companies that have got lots of patterns that are very popular. A lot of companies have 1 or 2 free patterns, so try those free patterns before you try one of their paid patterns. That's the only thing with indie patterns, is they are very expensive, over £20 or $25 now, which when we've got everything else is going up, the cost of living is going up, that's a lot of money to make one garment. Because most of us, we might lie to ourselves and tell us, oh yeah, we'll make 6 garments out of that pattern, but we don't, do we? We make 1, maybe 2 max. Whereas you can usually get a commercial pattern for half that price, if not more, if you look in the sales. So the next question is, how did I learn about fabric? It was just through trial and error, using the fabric, seeing how it played, seeing how it sewed, seeing how I like to use it, and then taking it from there. So I started with a quilting cotton. That's a great beginner fabric. And then I found it was a little bit too stiff for garments. So I moved over to a poplin, which has a little bit more ease. Well, not ease, it has a little bit more flow. And then I went on and I tried some other fabrics. I tried some jerseys, and there's lots of different types of jersey. One time I tried a viscose jersey and I learned that I really don't like that. It's very, very fluid and it's very difficult to handle. And then I tried some silk-like fabrics, some really lightweight ones. Some lawn, love lawn. I just tried them, did lots of patterns, so I used a wide variety of patterns. They call for different types of fabrics. So now we're going to talk about this wonderful chair. Thank you to FlexiSpot for sending this to me. I absolutely love it. It arrived in 2 boxes and I started to take it out. It is very, very heavy, so if you go ahead and purchase one for yourself, then just beware of that. You might need someone to help you if you have issues similar to mine. It was really, really easy to put together. It probably took about half an hour to put together, to be honest. All the cushions came covered. There's only a couple of screws to put in the footrest. Everything else just slotted into place, super, super easy. So how wonderful is that? So when I was talking to FlexiSpot, they offered me a couple of different chairs. This is the one that I chose. This was my preferred one. I really wanted the beige because it goes with my aesthetic, and I was not disappointed. It is really, really high quality. But let's get to the really important stuff. Aside from quality, quality is important. I can rock. It's a rocking chair, which might get a bit annoying when I'm sat filming and I'm rocking backwards and forwards, but as a chair goes, because I have coccyx issues, so this soothes those issues. It also swings around, which I love. And it's a recliner as well. I will insert some footage so you can see it reclining. Do have a look on FlexiSpot's site. I do have a special offer down below in my description box, so do check that out. Just to be clear, this video is not sponsored, but it is gifted. So let's get on to some more questions. So I'm going to answer a few personal questions now because they've been coming in thick and fast. I do have a vlog channel, but I've kind of abandoned it at the moment because I'm concentrating on this channel and my carnivore channel. So I've got a few questions about the gym. So how is the gym going and how many days per week do you spend at the gym? So a little while ago, I wrote on my community tab, I think it was on my carnivore channel, that I had started going to the gym. This was absolutely fantastic, because I used to be a right gym bunny about 12 years ago, and when I got ill, well, I was already ill when I was going to the gym, but my illness stepped up and I couldn't gym it anymore, and I was devastated because the gym was everything to me, absolutely everything, and I never thought that I would see a day where I could go to the gym again. As I've been losing weight, I've been on the carnivore diet and I've been getting stronger, going on lots of walks. I signed up to the gym. This is about 2 months ago now, and I went a few times. Unfortunately, it did start to make my condition worse again. So before I started the gym, I was getting out and about every other day, going on a walk. So when I have a walk, I then have to have a rest the next day. But it was a lot more activity than I'd been doing in the past. However, when I started gymming it, I was needing 3 to 4 days rest. And so it really reduced the amount of exercise I was getting overall. And I tried it a few times, but I was just declining. I was going downhill. So I sadly had to make the decision that I'm not going to do it right now. Really, really sad. But I will go back to it at some point. Do you calorie count? on the carnivore diet, because you don't have carbs, you don't get hungry, you don't get cravings, you don't feel like, oh, I've got to eat now, I've got to eat now. That only ever happens to me when I have a few carbs. Even if I have maybe 10 carbs, I will start craving food. So there's really no need to calorie count. I'm also doing something called OMAD, which is eating 1 meal a day. So about 5 o'clock every night, I will have one big meal that consists of about 1,100 calories, roughly speaking, but I don't count calories. I basically eat until I'm full up, and then I stop, and then I don't eat again until the same day the next day. Are you staying in the same place, or are you moving? How's the house hunting going? I am still moving. It seems like it's taken forever. It was last August/September that me and Darren split up, and we're still living together right now. So that is a little bit annoying, to say the least. But I live in social housing, and it's really, really difficult to get moved. I've had about 4 places fall through that I thought were going to go through, and then they didn't at the last minute. I have another place that's not going to fall through. I'm absolutely certain of that. We are going through all the red tape at the moment, but I'm expecting in the next month or so to have a move for dating. For dating? God, no. No. In the next month, I will have a date for moving. And then once I've moved, we'll be getting the sewing machine out. I am very, very excited about my move. Very excited. How much meat do you eat daily? And do you watch Dr. Berry on YouTube? I tend to eat about 300 grams, a steak in a packet. Let me show you. So this will be tonight's dinner, which is about... Wow, this is 170 grams, so this isn't much at all. I might have to get another one when I pop out, because the other meats I've got are frozen. And as for Dr. Berry, yes, I do watch Dr. Berry. I watched him a lot in the beginning to educate myself on this way of eating. He's got a lot of really good information. So the next questions are, how is your sister and how is Frederick? Sister's doing really, really well. She is, I don't know what to say. She's a very private person. She doesn't want me to really say anything about her. So I can't. But yeah, she's doing well. Frederick is also doing well. He's sat on my sofa at the moment watching me talk. Since I've been losing weight, I've been getting more and more fantastic comments from you guys regarding my weight. I am so happy that it shows and that you guys can see it. And I absolutely love the compliments you've been giving me. Someone asked, what are you doing to turn back the clock? You are looking happier and healthier than ever. Thank you a million times over. It is very, very nice to be receiving these compliments. Losing weight is a lot of hard work. I like the recognition, I'm not gonna lie. Someone else asked, where are you hiding your fountain of youth? I had to go and look up what that meant. The carnivore diet. I can't tell you enough. Carnivore. If you have any health issues at all, carnivore diet is your friend. I went to it for health issues, not for weight loss, and then I started to lose weight and I was like, I really want to do this. Where I've given up carbohydrates, it has stopped the inflammation. And I know, because anytime I have a few carbohydrates, sometimes I fall off the wagon, inflammation comes back straight away. It is adding high fat. It's getting exercise as well, because before I was doing this, I was pretty much bedbound. So I hope those questions answer the things you wanted to know. If you want to know more about my healthy lifestyle, the journey I am on, follow me on my carnivore channel, because that will give you a lot more information. So let's get on to some more sewing questions. So, how to buy fabric online and not accidentally choose the wrong fabric. I do have a video talking about how to buy fabrics online. So that was one I did a couple of years ago. So do check that out. It's in my archive. You can order samples. I know. We don't want to order samples, do we? but it's so helpful because not only are you going to understand the type, you're going to understand the composition, the structure it has, if it has any stretch, the colour that you want to buy as well. All that is so helpful. So I do really recommend that you buy swatches before you buy the actual fabric, especially if it's an expensive one. Look at the details on the website and really understand what they're telling you. So you'll see the composition, you'll see the stretch, the elastane. Really try and have an understanding of what that is telling you, because it often will give you a lot more information. If you're in any doubt, contact the company. They will give you extra guidance. Go to your local fabric shop, go in there and feel the fabrics of what you want to buy online. I think it's better to buy your fabrics in person, but if you can't do that, I've been living on an island, so it's really difficult for me to do that. Be confident in what you are purchasing, and maybe even if you accidentally buy the wrong fabric, then you can use it for something else. My sister's calling me, but I'm going to talk to her later because we're in the middle of this. Have you had any fabric mishaps that you have learned from? Yes, every fabric mishap I've had, I have learned from in one way or the other. There was a green dress I made. I'll put it on screen if I can find a picture of it. And it was a very silky fabric and it frayed badly. I made it a few washes in. It frayed because the edges were not secure enough. And it wasn't even a few washes in, because if I remember, I mentioned in the video when I was wearing it, before I'd even washed it, that it had come apart under here. And that taught me that I've got to be a bit more careful about my side seams and not rush them so much, and make sure they're really secure. If in any doubt, I can just double sew the sides or do like a French seam or something. That's one example, but you can go back and watch my journey videos. I do have a playlist for all my actual makes videos, and you can have a look and see my fabric mishaps for yourself. Do you buy clothes from the charity shop to upcycle? Historically, I never did, because where I was big, it was very hard to find any clothes in my size, and the ones that I did, I wanted to leave them for people who really needed them, because as a large person, a very large person, it is so hard to find clothes that fit you if you're someone who buys clothes. So I didn't feel right about going into a charity shop and buying clothes that I'm just going to cut up for a video that I probably wouldn't actually wear in real life. So I never did, but now I'm getting smaller. That might be something I go to in the future, especially once I'm sewing again. I'm not going to have loads of money to be buying fabric, so that might be an answer for that, really. Have you started measuring your body with a view to making smaller clothes? So when I get back to sewing in a couple of months, I am going to have to make clothes a lot smaller than I did previously. I do take measurements. I take monthly measurements to track my progress. So I do know what my measurements are, and they are considerably smaller than they were. And by the time I sew, they're going to be smaller still. So the answer is no, I'm not doing it with a view for my clothing just yet, because I don't know what my measurements will be. But obviously when I make my first garment post moving, part of the journey will be taking my measurements and choosing a size, and I will take you through all of that. Do you quilt is the next one? No, I did start a quilt many years ago, about 4 years ago. It's still in my cupboard somewhere, unfinished, so it's maybe something that I will look into finishing at some point. Explain how to do mitered corners, please. I can't explain it right now because I'm sat in a chair. I need to be on a table to demonstrate to you, but I have shown you how to do mitered corners before in this video. So go and have a watch of that video in my archive and you will find out how to do them. Now this question I found really interesting. Why are so many sewers making lined summer dresses? I didn't know this was a thing, so I went and had a quick look on YouTube and I couldn't find anything. I'm guessing that when you make a summer dress, the fabric's light and floaty, is probably a little bit see-through. So you're going to want to line it so it doesn't show your bra. Yeah, that's the only reason. Another reason could be that you want a high quality product, and high quality often means a lined garment. How do you sew a V-neck on a woven fabric and get it to lie flat? So it's actually a really simple. So you've got a V-neck here. Obviously you've got your neckband, or I don't know if you call it a band, or however you're finishing it. But you would sew from the back of the neck all the way down to the point, and then you stop, and then you cut into the seam allowance. This is really difficult to explain without doing it, because I don't want you cutting through your seam allowance. You mustn't do that. But cut up to the point of your sewing, and then turn the fabric in the machine, obviously, and then sew up the other side. Then because you've cut into your point, when you turn the fabric in and press it, you must press it, it's really important, you shouldn't get any pucker in there. Maybe that's something we can do. Do let me know in a comment down below or on my community post any kind of demonstrations that you want me to show you moving forward. The next question is the best way to transfer twirl changes to a pattern. So when you are sewing, I recommend that you do a twirl. A twirl is a practice garment. You'll make it up. You won't do all the finishes and that. You just sew the shoulders and the side seam, maybe do a bust dart, whatever it is you're making, and just try it on to see how it's fitting you. And you've seen the process that I've gone through, where I will like mark with a marker pen on that fabric where I need my shoulder to be, or any changes, maybe I need to lower my bust dart. And then it's about transferring it to your pattern. So when you do that, what I would do is get a measuring tape out on the fabric and see where the change is, how much of a change as well, and then measure that on the paper pattern. That's the easiest way to do it. Otherwise you can lay the fabric on the pattern and mark it that way, but I just find measuring with an actual ruler much more accurate. So I'm going to leave this video here. Don't forget to check out FlexiSpot down below. There's a link. They've got a discount, I believe, on their chairs at the moment. This chair is fantastic. I cannot tell you how happy I've wanted a chair for chatting to you guys for the longest time. If you are still watching, thank you so much for watching. Do check out this video here, which was my latest video. The algorithm wasn't a fan, but I know you will be if you do watch it. So I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.